Next on the list is, and this is one for you to talk about, Nick, ceramic bearings. I've never used ceramic bearings. I am definitely not the target customer for ceramic bearings because I would never buy them.
So you and I were talking this morning about a sustainable bike, belt drives and all these things. You want to build something that's going to last and not be as wasteful. And I think for that topic, ceramic is massively underrated. If you're buying it for speed, I don't know what actually everybody's marketing it at, it's overrated because it doesn't offer that much speed. I mean, full disclosure, I'm sponsored by Enduro Bearings, but it's not because, I'm not saying this because I'm just ceramic in general. The issue is that they all claim these speeds and things like that. But Matt from Enduro has done some tests where they've, from a basic normal bottom bracket to a full ceramic top of the range.
Can I ask you a question first before you dig into the detail of this? Enduro, do they do ceramic bearings?
Yes, they do.
Do they do non-ceramic bearings?
Yes.
Do they do cheap bearings?
Yes.
Do they do expensive bearings?
Yes. Very expensive.
So essentially they're the whole of market.
They do everything, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, but the whole thing about it is that ceramic doesn't give you the speed. A full ceramic bearing versus like a normal basic Shimano bottom bracket is only going to give you about 1 watt. So what people are advertising and buying it for is for the wrong reason.
1 watt though, that's the difference between winning or losing.
I know.
That is the comment. Whenever there's a challenge on weight or aero, there will always be a comment where someone says, but that's the difference between first and second place.
Okay, I know for you and me, that's like doubling our FTP. But I mean, for your average cyclist that actually rides a bike, it's not going to make any difference. So I wouldn't, if you buy ceramic bearings for durability, then that's great. But then you need to make sure the ceramic balls will never corrode. But you need to make sure the races that the bearings are sat in is also made of a material that won't corrode. So once again,
Like ceramic?
You can't do ceramic races effectively. I don't have the engineering know-how to explain this properly, but think of it as glass. So to do the shape, make a round ball out of glass is really easy because it's a spherical design. But to make the races out of it, there's a risk that they will explode. So once again, I've seen photos of where people have tried to do it, but at speed and with load, when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong.
So no one sells, or at least to your knowledge, sells a ceramic bottom bracket where the
Race
bearing
ceramic.
and the race are both ceramic.
I'm pretty sure there'll be some companies in the Far East that probably do it, but nobody's making one that is safe or that's reliable.
But like the big brands that are out there, they don't.
No.
Right, okay,
they don't
cool.
do it.
Cool.
But Enduro, for instance, they do a thing called XT15, which is nitrogen-infused stainless steel. It will never rust, and it's incredibly hard. So something like that, I've been riding my bike, just won't ever wear out. So if you're buying, and I've not got it for speed, because I'm not fast. I've got it purely in there so I don't have to wash my bike or look after it properly.
Every time I've talked to you about my bikes and bearings, you've said, we've got to get you some of these bearings because they got a lifetime warranty. And to be fair, lifetime warranty is something which is cropping up more and more in cycling, and I'd never really considered it before, but it does influence me now. It does. Like for example, Zip wheels and Envy. They're too expensive in the first place, mine. But ultimately, if I'm going to be buying stuff for a bike now, I am looking at 2 things: is it durable? Is it gonna last me forever? And how sustainable is it? And then when you start looking at things like bearings that are designed to basically live forever, then that seems like
there's a disclosure on this. 90% of all bearings fail because of corrosion. Corrosion is what kills bearings. So if you live somewhere really dry and warm, not humid, don't buy ceramic bearings. Don't buy stainless steel. Just buy a basic bearing. Save your money because that'll last incredibly long. If you live somewhere in wet weather, at least go for something that's stainless steel. Chris King, all these guys make really good stuff. Make sure it's a good grade of stainless steel and it'll just last much longer. But also be careful with lifetime warranties, not just on everything. It's a very loose term brands throw out there. So they'll say, for instance, I'm going to use Cannondale as an example. They did on a while, there was lifetime warranty, but it's the expected lifetime of the whatever product it is, the frame set. And that expected lifetime could be 3 years.
Oh, its lifetime, not your lifetime.
Not your lifetime.
Oh,
that's
right, okay.
So you need to be careful on these things. Also, Ceramic Speed, for instance, they give you lifetime warranties on the bearings, but there's a massive disclosure in there. If there's a single speck of rust in that bearing when it goes back to them and the races, your warranty is cancelled because you didn't look after it.
Fact or speculation?
Fact. So it's essentially a conditional lifetime warranty,
Yeah,
meaning
of
you have to
course,
look after. You can't just go wild on it. Zip, for instance, they technically speaking, the warranty on the wheels, the crash warranty, only counts if you're on the bike riding it. So if you put your bike at a cafe and somebody rides into it and breaks the wheel, technically speaking, Zip could just say, no, it's not a warranty. Or if the bike's on the car's roof and you've driven into a wall with it, they don't have to warranty it.
Yeah.
But if you sat on the bike and you rode into a pothole, or your mate rode into you while you sat on the bike, then obviously it's a loose kind of term to give them exit clauses.
Mm-hmm.
On this XD15 though, it's an unconditional warranty. We've done some stupid things with it. I've taken the seals out of bearings and just let it run open. James has been running a bottom bracket for a year with no seals or grease in it, just to see what happens. Because the seals will actually, the reason we took the seals out wasn't because of trying to get it dirty. The seals will cause more drag when they're dry than a ceramic bearing ever would give you an advantage of. I think something like 20 times slower a dry seal than a wet seal.
What's a dry seal and a wet seal?
So if your bearings on your bike has got seals in them,
yeah.
If the seal dries out, so if your grease is completely gone, that seal will have 20 times more drag than a wet seal. So if you're going to run something like those bearings without any seals in them, or sorry, any grease in them, it's probably best to take the seals out as well.
Why is James running the bearing without any grease in it?
We want to test it.
Oh, just to trash
James
it.
breaks everything.
Just to try and trash it.
I've not seen a single thing that James hasn't broken. Right. That kid ruins everything. We're testing warranties with him because it's literally Zip. He's gone through 3 wheel sets from Zip in 1 year. Crashes. That's not the wheels failing, but that's just him hitting potholes, or in races he hit a brick with both wheels once, and they've been really good. But yeah, it's James is my test dummy on how long things last. We've just found out a SRAM rival cassette on his bike, 13,500 kilometers, which I was actually quite shocked at. But yeah.
So back to ceramic bearings.
Overrated for speed, or what everybody's buying them for. Massively underrated for longevity if they're made correctly. But in that sphere, stainless steel is really good as well if you look after it.
What's the price point on cheap bearings, stainless steel bearings, ceramic bearings, just in general?
So this is wild because it depends on bottom brackets to headsets to wheels. Wheel bearings is probably the best example. Generally speaking, a cheap bearing is going to be about £5. You could get, I'm just averaging out over different sizes.
Yeah.
Stainless steel, we sell the Enduro ones. They are about £15 a bearing. So it's not massively more, and you'll get your money back fairly quickly on that. And then up to ceramic, you're looking at about £80 to £100 a bearing. So for wheels, it's really expensive. So the last place where I would suggest go stainless steel there. For bottom brackets, you're looking from 50 quid for standard bottom bracket up to about 280 for ceramic, and then it goes up there up to £400 if it's ceramic speed. Right. So yeah, it's not a cheap thing.
I guess it comes down to, as a consumer, as a person that rides a bike, how much riding do you do? What conditions do you ride in? And then you can make a decision on whether it's a good investment or not.
The main thing I'm trying to say is if you live somewhere dry, it's overrated. Don't waste your money.
I guess the point of what you're actually making here is if you're looking for performance,
look elsewhere.
There's better places to spend your money.
100%. It's just a waste of money.